To nurture and succeed at a career or a journey for 30 years is no mean joke. Especially in this day and age, there are a lot of lessons to be learned. If you can create a product, a brand that can change with times and continue to grow strong even 3 decades down the line. Today I'm speaking with someone very special. Of course, he's very, very well known, superstar Suniel Shetty, but he is also an entrepreneur, has also been a restaurateur, been in fashion, and has now completed 3 decades of his journey with a new adventure. Mr. Shetty, thank you so much for speaking with us here at the Times Network. And let's begin with your, I would say, newest adventure, your debut on an OTT platform, something which earlier, big stars didn't come on television shows. That's changed, hasn't it?
Yeah, but I think, I believe OTT is not television. It's more detailed. It's more, from an actor's perspective, an opportunity to outperform himself before, far more than what they did earlier, because you got an opportunity to tell your story in a larger format, in a longer format. You're talking about 4 hours of probably running time as compared to probably 120 minutes. A lot of layering, which means growth of character. So the opportunity is very, very huge. The audience is set. You're also secure because when you're on a particular platform, what the platform hopes for is the growth of the subscription, and what you aim for is the captive audience that is there, which is already there and that has already paid for the platform to watch your show. So the risk factor is out, and there is a certain comfort, and that's why I think that massive switch.
Obviously, the show we're talking about is Dharavi Bank. You play a very interesting character. As an actor, is it harder work on a format like this, a deeper dive into the character? Because you've been known for action and all-out entertainers. Was this a different genre and different mindset?
Different mindset, yes, because like you said, you have to deep dive. But then when you deep dive, the result is far, far better, because the audience understands the character a lot more. When you start working on the character, you can go back to the history of the character. What was he thinking, and what kind of a personality he was. Whereas when it comes to cinema, it's just I think the top layer that is actually scratched and nothing else. So when people come back with the feedback, they know a lot more about you. They know a lot more about the character, the layering that happens. Other interesting characters take the story forward, and then you meet up at a particular time of it. So I think OTT gives you an opportunity to outdo yourself and perform. And not only that, tougher, yes, because longer hours. Running time is a lot more, so probably a lot many days going into it, but otherwise a great medium.
Why do you think that OTT platforms and shows are being called movie killers, where you're seeing not so many people flocking to the cinema hall? Big budget films are falling flat on their face. A lot of people who do very well on the big screen don't necessarily do well on OTT. Is there a change in audience that nobody has understood yet?
No, I disagree. And that's what everybody says. It's the birth of the OTT that is slowly killing cinema. Cinema is larger than life. It's entertainment in the true sense. Yes, in Hindi cinema, we're going through this massive phase where we're not seeing success at all. But I believe that's more so because of the kind of content that we are creating. 80% of the investment is going into talent and other things, and 20% is content. So how do you expect a product to look good when the spend on content, it should have been an 80-20 rather than a 20-80.
So you're agreeing with the theory that the stars take too much of the money for themselves. They are hogging the budget.
It's the producers who want to make something, and who want to be in circulation when it comes into production, and that's why they're paying them. Why? The best way to do this is probably partner with an actor and say, you know what, let's do it jointly. Let's become partners. I give you an MG. I put so much into production, and if we make good money, we share revenues. And that's the model that is going to work, and that's the model that has already begun to work. This doesn't happen down south. You know, down south OTT exists. Why are we seeing box office numbers out there? Why are we seeing the Punjab cinema changing and it growing? Why was Kannada, that was doing films at 50 to 5 crores, now suddenly making films that are worth 80 and 100 crores when it comes to cost of production? It's because their focus is content. And they're not detached from the audience. 70% of India is still tier 3, 4 and rural. And we're, the kind of content we are making is content that the West is making, and we're trying to ape the West. The audiences are different. So there is a complete mismatch when it comes to that. And what do you see in OTT today? Films that are not seeing the light of day when it comes to distribution are most of the ones that are going on to OTT. They weren't designed for OTT. And that's why you don't see the same success even on OTT when it comes to these kind of films. Yes, they're getting a release. Yes, they're making money. But is the impact the same? You know? So we've taken the convenient path of going to OTT. When I came in, the video boom was on, and everybody believed that हम लोग घर पे ही देखेंगे फिल्म है, बड़ी फिल्म है, पैसे वाले घर पे देखेंगे, TVs बड़ी होगी, हमारा DVDs हम घर पे मंगाएंगे, and we'll get the actors to dance at home for us. But that's not the way it worked. You know, that was that transition. But that gave birth to Ajay Devgan, that gave birth to Akshay Kumar, that gave birth to Jackie Shroff, Suniel Shetty, you know, who got an opportunity to show their action, because again it's mass. So that transition was a mass transition where cinema was going through the transition because it believed that DVD will finish it. Same thing today, OTT has come in, and it's that transition period, a reminder that get back to your roots and get back to great content.
It's an interesting comparison, but just a couple of, I would say, differences. One is the lag time between a movie hitting a cinema hall and being available on your screens. That has shortened a fair amount of bit. So you need to really make the effort to go to a movie hall from a consumer point of view. Plus it's costing me more than before. Everything costs more, right from the popcorn I will buy to my transport over there. Then I have to make the effort to actually go. Here it's available not just on my TV, on my smartphone.
But is the viewing the same? Is the experience the same? Do you realize that you have divided your own family? How do you watch? I'm asking you the question. How do you watch OTT?
Yeah, all of us have our own choice. You're right.
No, not about a choice. Your viewing experience. You're watching it on your laptop. You're watching it on your iPad. Yeah. You're watching it individually. Yes. Is there an audience with you? And are you sharing anecdotes or sharing moments with each other? No. This is how it's being watched.
The community viewing is gone.
Gone. And every time there's some member of the family and there's an odd scene or something that you're embarrassed about, your screen will keep tilting because you don't want the person to see what you're watching. That experience has gone. Which movies give you that experience? Sometimes humor or any emotion that you're going through, when it's a community and it's combined, it impacts it differently. The entire experience is different. It's like watching sport on television versus watching sport in a stadium. You know, the entire experience is different, and that even this little bit makes a hell of a lot of difference.
So I think the fact, like you mentioned, that movies emerging, pan-Indian movies emerging from the southern part of the country are doing well even in the cinema halls, shows you that there is an exception to that rule. Now, coming back to that, why do you think they're working better? Is it just content, or is it their business model? Is it the way they're approaching the business of movie making which is differentiating them and letting them succeed?
I think better writing,
Yeah.
which means a better narrative. The actors connect with their fans. Ours is a very superficial connect. That's the way I see it. My Instagram is all about the food I'm eating, my travel, the car I'm driving, the clothes that I'm wearing. There's a complete disconnect with the audience. For the audience, that is alien. That is, oh really? What is a Maybach? Oh, what is, you're in Seychelles or you're here? Or, there's a disconnect. Whereas the South audience is very, very, South or regional is very, very connected to their audience. They're larger than life characters. It's generally ragged to riches, or a hero in the true sense, where the audience is involved with the character, believes that is me, and wow, if I work this way, this is what I can achieve. We are in a different world when it comes to...
Isn't a quote of yours where you talked about this trend that people posting about eating sushi and holidaying in the Maldives, and they aren't really any superstars of this era or this generation, or very few. Why do you think that is? And why do you think even today, you talked about an Ajay Devgan film, why does that movie work with an actor who's been around for a long, long time? There is a whole generation of newer actors. Where do you think they are failing to hit the mark of becoming superstars?
They are superstars. There's no denying the fact that a lot of them are superstars, but not at the box office anymore.
That's the one that counts.
Yeah, no, depends. I mean, are you a MediaNet made star, or are you a genuine superstar, is the question. And that the agents have to realize that, and they have to realize that. Yeah. Am I bringing in the numbers? No, I'm not managing that. Am I managing the footfalls? No. And the only thing that can manage footfalls is content. If your content is right, it'll work. I mean, each one is scared of multi-star cast films, where, probably the narrative could be more fun, better, competition.
It's more ego.
Yeah, and comfort. Director ये है, producer ये है, banner ये है, अच्छा है, safe हूँ मैं. I think they need to start taking risks, a lot more risks than they are doing at this present moment.
Tell me about all the risks or different things that you are doing, Mr. Shetty. Of course, we're talking about your OTT debut, you're doing different kind of movies. What is the most exciting thing that you're doing right now, which is really changing up things for you? How are you challenging yourself, 30 years down the line?
First of all, I'm content. I'm not, not competing with anybody. I've seen failure. I've seen a lot of failure probably in the last 7, 8, 9 years. Having chosen to do the wrong films, having chosen to emotionally handle my career more than, in any other way, saying yes to friends, yes to people, thereby not focusing on what I should have been focusing on. So there came a stage where, I started, I think I took a sabbatical for a long time. I probably stayed away from movies for over 6, 7 years and dabbled with 1 or 2 odd South films. And then realized, what, nothing to lose. Let me just cut myself away from the entire system and dabble in other things, business or whatever I found interesting. That's when actually Dharavi came to me, and phenomenal script. When the synopsis came to me, the first thing I thought was, what, I don't want to play cop, because I've done enough of that, and I would play it, if it was better than the character that I saw in Thalaivan. And I jumped at it. They gave me, first of all, I didn't believe that I was the first choice, because it was a larger than life character, and I didn't know whether I sold. So, all these question marks were going on in my mind, and when they came back the second time, I said, no, it's you we want for this character. That's when I decided, you know what, I need to focus, I need to work on this, I need to put everything that I have into this character for it to work. And today, suddenly, when you realize that yes, it's the content, it's the character, it's relatable when it comes to the mass, you suddenly see a rating of 9.5, 9.6 and a 9.7, which is unheard of, for a while now. And that is because of the focus on the content. So there was a clear divide for me that this is something that I will do now as a hobby, something that will keep me going, that will keep me connected, but at the same time dabble in something that gives me confidence. And business is what gave me that confidence. And didn't.
So what is the day job and what is the plan B?
The day job, initially, it was the insecurities that because of my failures, it was the insecurity that said, you need to do something else to be mentally there, and rather than cry over spilt and spoiled milk. And you had an opportunity, you never wanted to be an actor, but you got an opportunity. Let me do something that I'm good at, so that my self-respect and my confidence stays with me. And that's what gave me the confidence and the self-respect. That was the business side of it. The knowledge about wanting to do something different all the time, dabble in something new, fail, but at the same time succeed. Nobody, pointing fingers at me, telling me what I did was right or wrong. Because if I failed, it was my investment. But when it comes to cinema, there's somebody, you overhear these people all the time talking about, oh, Suniel Shetty, last week, bad film. He's a flop actor. This happened to me when I started, because of which I dabbled in business. I was a successful businessman. I came into the movies. My first film was successful, but the critic said that he's wood and he needs to go back to the restaurant. And I said, insecure. Because every kid believes that he's Amitabh Bachchan when he comes in.
Has that insecurity sort of haunted you? Because you've seen great success, cinematic success, but do you feel that you've still not got that sort of critical acclaim of being a great actor?
No, I said that is what got me to also simultaneously do business, because I said this is a place of uncertainties. Definitely a place of uncertainties. You cannot guarantee. You're as good as your last film, and you're as good as the subject you choose, or the people who want to. You can't go out there and choose a subject. At times when you're not successful, it's only success that brings about success and better scripts and better stories. Then it's your choice. But that is what I said. I need a security blanket, and I dabbled in business. That business continued. I grew both the personalities together, and when one got hit badly, is when I said, you know what, let me raise the bar up here, so that the way people look at you is very, very different then. And that's what settled me. That's what got me into a safer place and a happier place. That's what kept people talking about me 6, 7 years, 8 years out of the industry. Out of sight is out of mind. But they kept me alive.
Let me talk about your other avatar. As a businessman, recently you've been hitting the headlines. You've gone viral on LinkedIn, talking about your insights into business strategies. You commented when Byju's recently laid off people, and there have been a slew of layoffs after that. And what struck me in some of your comments was that the first plan should be to survive.
Absolutely.
Is that a lesson also learned from your movie career?
Very
and the
much.
fact that you chose to hedge your bets? I will do business and cinema. you need to first survive.
Absolutely, and it wasn't about the Baiju layoff as much as to the Y Combinator, article that I read that said, they're going to be tough times, and if everybody is going to believe that cash burn is the way to do business and valuation is the only way to do business, you're in for tough times, and that's what I was talking about, and that it happened. When at the time that Baiju laid off, of course they've given jobs to millions of, thousands of kids and hope to a whole lot of them. But then an entire generation follows that kind of a thought process, where they believe, okay, raise money, raise the bar, cash burn, and do what you want. That's not how it works for me. For me, it's always cash is king. And my network and my net worth is my profits. My valuation are my customers. My turnover that I do is my valuation. For me, that is not valuation, and that's what I spoke about.
Let me talk a bit about these two sort of streams of yours. Of course, you're passionate about acting and of business. Which do you truly enjoy more?
Cinema, always.
Yeah.
And because it's stress-free. Stress-free because all you have to do is act. All you have to do is be passionate about what you're doing. Every day a new character, every day a new location.
But you have to deal with the critics.
You have to. But that's why I said, be educated in whatever you do. If I was a trained actor and I had the opportunity and I had gone to the NSD and the best institutes, probably I wouldn't be saying what I am saying today. But those are the lessons you learn, and those are the lessons that you probably that knowledge that you give out to the world. That whatever you do, make sure that you know that business and you're trained in that business. Because initially I did feel bad. But then when I analyzed, I said, you know what? Shit. I haven't trained as an actor. So what? He's seen me just right. He's gauged that I'm not a trained actor. How do I do that? Oh, the only option I have is a body. Let me work harder on that body to get work, to learn the craft and the art even more. Do death-defying stunts where the audience says, crazy guy, action hero, get an image for yourself. So that's how I worked. But to balance things off, didn't know whether I would survive, so continued dabbling in business and doing what I thought was good.
Your health and fitness has also made you quite a bit of a, I would say, online star and an influencer. At 62, you're obviously in great shape. How important is that to you as a personality, and how important do you think it is for people to maintain, that kind of a focus on health and fitness?
See, after going through what we did in the last 3 years, I think it's a necessity. It has to be a way of life. For me, it has been a way of life for me because I owe my career to it. Yeah. Even as a student of the catering. The hotel management business, when I started with Dad's business and I ran certain bars and restaurants that he had, the authorities generally treated you very differently when it came to, he runs a bar and rules and regulations, and even though you followed the rules and regulations, you were always treated as someone who would always depend on them, whether it's the cops or whether it's the excise. They'd always call upon you as someone, always checking on you, whether you're doing business right, whether you have all your licenses, whether you're having to, I'd say troubling you in different language. But because I came from a martial arts background and because I was super fit at that time, they looked at me very differently. The minute I entered, they'd talk about their problems that they had. They'd talk about fitness. The respect was a lot more. So I gauged that at a very early stage of my life. When I was 16 and 17, I was training the Maharashtra police. I was training the Indo-Tibetan border police. So the respect that I got was very different from what I'd see my friends or other kids of that age getting. So that stuck to my mind, and I believe that this is one way of getting into people's hearts, and that continues even at 62. I have an 18-year-old connected to me because he says, "Sir, respect," because they see dad at home in a different way and in a different light, and probably that hope that if we stick to the basics, age is just a number.
Well, it absolutely is. Looking at you, age is just a number. Thank you so much, Mr. Shetty, for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much.